What is going on, everyone? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. It is absolute chaos at Netflix as the organizer of the walkout has now been fired, and Netflix employees are turning on the media who is seeking to run various hit pieces against them. It's an absolute smorgasbord of disaster for all of us purveyors of enjoyment. And while this story does seem to be winding down, it just keeps getting more legs with the walkout schedule just a few days from now. It's been interesting to see everything shake out. Now, I'm no fan of Netflix. There are occasional programs that I would enjoy watching. For example, Squid Game was something that I wanted to watch. And by the way, if you want to browse anonymously and access regional locked content, or keep your data to yourself, and you still don't have VPN, make sure you take advantage of the special offer I have for you from Private Internet Access. Check this out. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, Private Internet Access. Hey, October is Cybersecurity Month, and they've got an amazing offer for you. It's 2021. If you don't have a VPN yet, there are several reasons why you'll want to sign up today. One, you can browse anonymously. Keep your browsing habits to yourself. You can keep your data away from big tech so that they can't resell it. And you can access region-locked content so you can open up a whole new catalog of online content to enjoy, whether it's anime or movies that might not be available in your area. You can get at it using a VPN. And the VPN I use on my phone, my tablets, my PCs, and my laptops is Private Internet Access, and they've given an amazing offer. It is just $2.08 a month, plus 2 months free, plus 3 free years of Private Internet Access's antivirus. If you haven't signed up today, use my link in the description or pinned comment down below to get Private Internet Access today. That offer is expiring soon, so make sure you sign up today. Let's start off with Gita Jackson, formerly of Kotaku and now of Vice, getting absolutely dunked on by people after she was asking for information. You could see she posted, "If you're an employee at Netflix and would like to speak to me about the current working conditions there, you can reach me by email at gitajackson@vice.com or securely by Signal." What this is of course her fishing for information to write a hit piece about what it's like to work at Netflix. Of course, people just dunking on her. I'm just so confused, looking for sources of the definition of real journalism. I'm trying. You can see here, not only does Vice allow blatant misinformation written, getting dunked, at least she's posting her else. "I'm trans and I work for Netflix. The school that gave you a journalism degree should be burnt to the ground and never allowed to educate anyone again. You are a miserable, sad individual." Sent from my iPhone. Now, are they really trans and do they really work at Netflix? It's difficult to know for sure, but you could see, no, seriously, why does Vice allow such blatant, emotionally written drivel? You have the ability to write something impartial, but you pen a whiny, half-reared attack piece. Please tell me how much they pay you so I can know the cost of how much it takes to slowly ruin this nation's one news source at a time. Like fake news, but almost worse, I swear. God forbid you and your take from Simon Ostrowski's example or Ben Anderson's written pieces. Yikes. This on top of a dangerous precedent being set. In Closer released last week, Chappelle reacted, "I gotta agree, blah, 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 blah. We understand the concern is not to offend people. Do words cause direct harm? According to a study by American Academy of Pediatrics, on-screen bad behavior does increase aggressive thoughts and behavior as well as decreased empathy in viewers. The same could be said of hate speech, whether it's by politicians or celebrities or people you know, except that isn't what the study studied. And for that one study, there's about 500 other studies that disprove this absurdity. Netflix just fired the organizer of the trans employee walkout. I love how The Verge has framed this. The Verge is framing this as though she was fired, or they were fired, for either being trans or organizing the walkout. But in the sub-headline, we actually learn the truth. The company suspects they leaked metrics about the Dave Chappelle special to the press. Netflix has fired a leader of the trans employee resource group who is organizing the upcoming walkout. That employee, who is black, that makes it worse, is currently pregnant, asked not to be named for fear of online meanness. They have been encouraging trans employees and allies to walk out in protest of Netflix's handling of Dave Chappelle's The Closer. The employee declined to speak to The Verge for the story, but we wrote the article anyway because we don't care whose lives we ruin as long as we can push our narrative. So this employee was fired for leaking information. Okay, that's why they were fired. But there are hundreds of articles that exist now that are basically leaning into like, well, they were fired for being trans and organizing this walkout, which was baloney. All these white people are going around talking to the press and speaking publicly on Twitter, and the only person who gets fired is the black person who was quiet the entire time and also leaked company secrets, says a former employee in an interview with The Verge. That's absurd and further shows that black trans people are the ones being targeted in this conversation. Now, in the 5th paragraph down, we finally get the truth. By the way, if you're new to the channel, you haven't yet, there's a red subscribe button down below. Please remember to click that and to leave a like on the video. It helps immensely. The employee was terminated on suspicion of leaking metrics to the press related to the Dave Chappelle special. Those metrics about how much Netflix paid for The Closer and how many people it reached would subsequently ended up being reported on Bloomberg. While the employee has shared the metrics internally, they spoke out against the leaks to colleagues worried they might have hurt the walkout movement. The leaking of internal data is highly unusual at Netflix. While the company prides itself on transparency, employees are told that the culture can only thrive when Netflix data remains internal. Well, yeah, otherwise they couldn't run all this, woke garbage that absolutely tanks and pretend like it's a huge success. A Netflix spokesperson confirmed the employee's dismissal. We have let go of an employee for sharing confidential, commercially sensitive information outside the company. We understand this employee may have been motivated by disappointment and hurt with Netflix, but maintaining a culture of trust and transparency is core to our company. And that's what you get with a lot of these ideologues. When they don't get their way, they just, it's like, why would you, when you have these people that are so politically driven, why would anyone hire them? When this is exactly what happens when they don't get their way. They share confidential information, and then the press goes out of their way to pretend that it wasn't that. Look, there is 0% chance that Netflix fired a black trans pregnant person if they didn't have rock hard evidence. Let's be serious here. Netflix didn't fire them for suspicion of sharing information. They absolutely had the smoking gun. There is no way they didn't. Controversy surrounding The Closer, which was widely criticized by trans activists for being phobic, has roiled Netflix in recent weeks. The company suspended Tara Field, a software engineer who posted a viral tweet thread on the controversy, for attending a director-level meeting in which she wasn't invited. Field has since been reinstated. By the way, something that probably would not have happened if they weren't who they are. Just being honest. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Literally, maybe I'm wrong. But what I do think is hilarious is this information that they leaked was put behind a paywall on Bloomberg. So the leaked information was shared with Bloomberg. Sarandos has lauded Chappelle as the most watched comedian. 10 million people have put on The Closer since its debut, according to a person familiar with viewer numbers. 10 million. Now that's 1/10 of Squid Game, but that's a lot for a comedy special. The comedian's popularity comes at a cost. Netflix spent $24.1 million on The Closer, slightly more than $23.6 it paid Chappelle for 2019 Sticks and Stones. By comparison, the services spent $3.9 million for Bo Burnham's recent hour-and-a-half special. The 9-episode Squid Game, which delivered the best debut in Netflix history, cost $21 million. By Netflix's own measurements, Sticks and Stones had an impact value of $19.4 million, meaning it cost more than the value it generated. According to internal documentations reviewed by Bloomberg, the company also evaluates its programs by efficiency, which balances a show's reach with its price tag. On that scale, Chappelle's special scored a 0.8, less than the break-even score of 1. By comparison, Burnham's Inside scored a 2.8. So what this writer's saying is what? Bo Burnham's better? That doesn't mean the show was unprofitable. Chappelle's specials are among the most popular of any comedian on the service. Sticks and Stones won 2 Emmy Awards and a Grammy. Netflix shares a lot of company data, including salaries and quarterly results with employees as a part of its culture and freedom of responsibility. It does so on the condition that those employees don't share financial results or performance of individual titles with the public. But the Chappelle story has prompted leaks unprecedented in the company's history. And you got fired for it. I mean, I'm assuming this will be the end of it. I mean, we probably have a bookend when, much of the ire is coming from not from the viewers, but Netflix's own employees, where more than 1,000 people have called or messaged the company to complain about the special in a few days since it was released. A person familiar with those metrics told Bloomberg that's more than Sticks and Stones, but smaller than other shows like Cuties. Oh, 1,000 people only 1,000 people? That's pathetic. 10 million people watched it. 1,000 people emailed to complain about it. I mean, exactly what? I mean, I love how the media, so the New York Post is, of course, more right-leaning. So their headline says, Netflix fires employee who leaked info about what Chappelle was paid for, controversial special. I'm a big fan of it. Anything that paints, Netflix in a negative light. Channing Tatum wades into Dave Chappelle controversy. He has hurt so many people. The Magic Mike actor defended Chappelle amid controversy over his Netflix special, The Closer. Probably not a good idea. But that's neither here nor there. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like and make sure you pick up private internet access. The deal is ending really soon. And if you don't have a VPN, the one I use is private internet access. They've been supporting the channel for a very long time, so make sure you sign up today.